Shambho, I intend to do something that feels quite dangerous, which is to be emotionally vulnerable in public. And I intend to do so because I see it as a signature of self-love, to allow yourself to experience your emotions, even in the space of not feeling as if they're beautiful and running the risk of being shamed for them or feeling like other people will not like them. And I feel a lot of rejection at this moment. In myself, I feel rejected. And for a reason that I myself, or a part of myself, thinks is very silly, and another part of myself still feels quite hurt by. The reason being that Shiva Shambho uploaded a video of him talking about having sex with a woman. And for those of you who don't know this, the point in which I started my YouTube channel was actually also the point in which I was kind of YouTube dating Shiva. At some point I went to a Devi Yantra ceremony, so in someone's house there was, on a full moon night, there was a ritual with Devi energy. And I really felt very strongly at that time that I needed to ask Shiva if he wanted to marry me, or just if I could be his wife, basically. I put it in those words, I don't know why exactly. Basically, I just said, I want to be with you. I want to come to Canada. I would be willing to move to Canada to be with you. And this felt weird to do, because I wasn't completely sure about it, but I also felt that I just had to do it. It was a strong calling, and I knew that it would bring self-awareness for both of us. And also, a part of me, I think, was quite honest about it. I think probably I would have done it if he said yes. So I was definitely also emotionally invested in that story, or the story that I was making up about this in my mind. And things went on. We talked for a couple of days in a row, and then Shiva said something like, I think you're confused, you don't know what you want, you're here for the spiritual juice, but not for me as a person, or we're not in love. That was what he said. And then we kept on talking a bit after that, and then there was a conversation with Leo, in which Leo asked Shiva something like, is this your way of saying that you're not interested? And then he said, no, yes. So that was the point at which I got rejected, or it came through as rejection, and I felt deeply hurt, not really by, maybe also by the personal rejection, but at that point it was more like I was kind of using him as an escape from my life, and I wanted to focus everything towards spirituality and being with someone like him, who obviously has a lot of energy, has been to Kailash, is consecrating stuff, has great ambitions on the spiritual level. I knew that it would be a learning process. So I actually took it quite seriously. Like, okay, if I can be around a person like this, it doesn't really matter to me even what kind of personal relation we have, or whether I like that. It will be fulfilling on another level than me liking it or disliking it. And I didn't know how to create that for myself in my life at the time. So I was kind of desperate to find a way to basically be in Isha Yoga Center or be in in yeah, be in a highly spiritual place, uh, without having to move to India. But then I would move to Canada. It doesn't make sense. But okay, anyway. So then when I came back to the reality of, okay, I'm here and I'm just gonna be with my life here and with all the things that are my life at this moment, I was okay. And yeah, I processed some of that. But now I realized that, so the aspect of me that was emotionally invested in that story, actually still was there and maybe still is there, to some extent. And that there are plenty of things that I would have imagined possible for me and Shiva. And this feels so strange to say because I never really allowed those things to come out in a conversation with him. But I'm gonna spill it anyway because it needs to be said and put out there for the daylight to see if I really want to end this chapter of longing in my life. And so many of the things that I thought about was I wanted to go and travel with him and go to Matotipila and visit nice spiritual places. And I wanted to found an ashram with him, or I think he still has the ambition to do so, and I could see myself playing a role there. And the thing is, there is a weird combination of longing in this story, which is both for the spiritual and the non-physical, and at the same time for the fulfillment of a deep need of mine, which is just to have human, emotional, and maybe even physical connection, like to be around the person that I trust, and to have sexual pleasure and to have playfulness with them and to have just a genuine, beautiful, innocent relationship with someone, that at the same time can be spiritually elevating. And so I think I denied myself the understanding of the human part of it and the fact that I was hoping to somehow get that from Shiva. And that it hurt me that he didn't want to give that. And I was okay with that because he just didn't seem like the guy to give that. And now he's kind of turning into that guy more and more. He's given up his semen retention journey and went to sleep with a woman, and now he's proclaiming that he wants to go to Jamaica with Leo and just live the good life there and meet beautiful women. And yeah, he kind of flipped to the other end of his asceticism. And the truth is that it hurts me and that it makes me feel like that I was unworthy of that, or not. What are the judgments here? Yeah, it makes me feel silly that I ever thought of this even. And it makes me feel stupid for trusting his advice and his words over my own feeling states of what I would like to do and where my desires take me. and for trying to mold myself into an image of what I thought he would approve of. And this has been a process on and off to take in his energy and work with it on a spiritual level, or don't even work with it, but just let it affect me without taking his words literally and without taking his advice as something that is truth, and without losing track of my own guidance system, let's say. What more do I feel? There's also just a lot of confusion about whether I actually like this guy and what it is that keeps me feeling like I need that from him. Because also I've been wondering a couple of times actually whether I should maybe just talk to him and address the fact that I don't entirely feel closure. There was nothing to close off, but still. And there was one point at which I actually talked to him and I said I feel pain and I feel rejected, and I had the suspicion that he had felt some pain too, actually, in the process of us online dating. I strongly sensed that in him at one point, that he got emotional and then just shut the doors somehow. And when I said this, like, maybe we should talk about that, he just answered, "There's nothing to talk about. Let's start the show." And then we did a podcast about some completely different topic. And that really felt bad. That felt like, oof. When I try to come forward with my emotions here, it's just as if I'm hitting a wall. And that also made me understand that what I want from a relationship and a person is something that he at that point, and probably also now, is not able to give me. And yeah, so why does it hurt that he is seemed to change his mind on many of the things that he said before? Maybe I'm just angry that I have kind of kept myself lonely and maybe missed opportunities because of hanging on to this story, or because of keeping myself very isolated in some way. I'm very selective with the people that I actually let into my life, and yeah, what to say about that? I think maybe that me thinking about Shiva as a potential partner was a way, or is a way, to not let myself actually have what is offering itself in my life right now, and to stay stuck instead of opening my heart and really feeling the loneliness that I sometimes feel. And the hurt. uh, yes. How to commit everything. It's not even true. I'm not committing everything to spirituality. Ugh. How to be a human being. How? Have to be willing to experience pain, and a lot of it. And you have to be willing to get caught up in any story and then get your mind broken and see that 90% of your life is a lie. And then you have to be willing to do it all again and start over and find a new story that you can hang on to. And then be courageous enough to open your heart. To have an open heart. And to face the world. Both loving the truth of you, who you are, and everything that you're believing, making yourself live and experience. And know at the same time that it's not true and meant to be lost and broken. And yeah, this is all a bit too poetic. It's not really accurate what I'm saying. Woof. Oh my god. I almost fell off my chair. So yeah. Is there anything more to say? Well, Shiva, I like you. I don't think... Yeah, if you would be down to go to Matosipila and get to know each other, let's do that. And enjoy. But no, actually I think I'm good to close this chapter of feeling rejected and needing someone else's advice to get anywhere and needing someone's guidance. And there's a lot of good people in my life who are actually offering the emotional intimacy that I seek. And I just have to be willing to receive it. And I have to be willing to be my own fucking guide. which I ultimately am inevitably. And I think Shiva, I think you're actually seeking for someone to love and for someone to love you. And your repressed sexuality is not only about sexuality, it's a lot about the heart and about allowing yourself to be vulnerable with people and connecting to people from a vulnerable space. And you'll get there. I admire you for being true to how you feel and true to your impulses and willing to shift them every single second and just turn 180 degrees and backstab someone or change your opinion or do something radical. I really admired that, and you don't need to be consistent. And thank you for showing us all where we hang on to an idea of how life should be or how people should be and how things work. And yeah, I think now I'm talking to Shiva again. You should tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel that I have experienced you and your emotionally vulnerable little boy. I feel like I have seen it twice only, very shortly. But it was very beautiful. And the part of me that got attached or that wished for something more to grow between us, actually fell in love with that guy, with the very open-hearted, innocent, vulnerable person. And I blame you for ruining my life. Spirituality, you said in one video, is about making your life better in every way. And I think it's true, but it's also about making your life worse in every single way. And it's just that your life becomes more of life, and life is an intense thing, and it is terrible and joyful at the same time. So I thank you for making my life more intense and for having me set up a YouTube channel so that I can spill all my emotions over the whole World Wide Web. And yeah, to make me feel insecure and unworthy, so that I can feel those feelings. I feel like I haven't gotten to the deep truth of this yet. It's still an unfolding process, and I don't know where I'm gonna land. Maybe I never land, probably I don't, but yeah. But I'm gonna end this video now, and see you soon. Shambho.